One is start with you, Mr. Stewart. If you can give us the definition actually of marketing research.
Market research. Any business opportunity starts with an investment. Any investment carries a risk. So the job of market research is to reduce that risk, to make sure that the business opportunity actually addresses a real consumer need and talks to the consumers. Any kind of marketing strategy talks to the consumers in a language that they understand.
So it's the most important step of marketing.
It's
always the first step.
It's the first step, exactly. And then it's relevant at every stage of the product life cycle. So it's a continuous process.
Indeed, and with this getting with you, Mr. Mohammed, tell us as to how it is that you see the culture of marketing research in Saudi Arabia as you're associated with it.
Well, we've been working in Saudi Arabia for about 30 years, so we know the market very well. Yeah, I mean, it's getting much better now than before. We're talking about 20 years ago, it was very difficult to go to the people and enter their houses and try to do the interview. I have a very hard time to explain what are you doing. Now it's getting much better. I think it's much easier now. People understand what is market research, but you have to make a little bit of effort to convince them what are the benefits of doing that, because at the end of the day, it's coming back to the consumer themselves. Yeah, it's for their benefit actually. So I think it's much better than before, and especially in the last 3 or 4 years, there is more market research is happening now in the market.
But if I could just add to that, it's very interesting actually that in the developed markets, Europe and America, one of the biggest challenges that market research is facing as an industry is cooperation. The consumers are getting, they feel they lead such busy, hectic lifestyles. They're getting a little bit reluctant to give time to answer questions. Whereas in this market, we get fantastic cooperation rates.
This is why some of the marketing people now follow the customer through his cell phone, maybe through his office, so in order to get the right research and the right answers.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are other methods. I mean, the most contemporary methods involve actually doing market research over cell phones. But still, the mainstay here is face-to-face.
And what about let's say the marketing research? As we know, there is a relationship with the economic development actually. What is the importance of marketing research and economic development?
It goes back really to where we started from, in terms of it's absolutely fundamental to make sure that you are answering a consumer need. So that fundamental information is needed to any economic activity. So it's a basic.
Indeed, and with this, Mr. Stewart and Mr. Mohammed, tell us a little bit more as to how it is that we could use the culture of marketing and marketing research in terms of eco-development in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, actually, as Stewart just said 2 minutes ago, that you cannot do anything without doing market research. I mean, market research is the tool which helps you to get the information. When you get the right information, it will help you to take the right decision. So that is what is, you cannot do any business or any industry. I mean, actually they are saying the main industry in the world is market research. You cannot live with it yet. So we have to be using market research more than what is happening now. You can see that some countries like Brazil and China and India, because they are using more market research, you can see what kind of development do they have now. It's growing a lot now. So we need to start building on that here. It will require a lot of more effort to convince the people, to convince the clients, to convince the companies, to convince the producers that what is the importance of market research. That will help to develop. Because it will help, I mean, you will get more information. Once you get more information, that will help you to take the right decision. Once you know more about the culture, you can approach them easily. I mean, the problem is the big company, they don't know a lot about the people. How do they live? What time do they go to bed? What kind of TV program do they watch? All of the things they need to know that. Once they know that, they can approach them easily. That will help them to take the decision.
Yeah, and what about, as you mentioned, about the busy life now, actually? You know, people are the main target for marketing research in order to get the right answers. But what are some other difficulties? Like, what do market researchers all always face when they try to do some research?
There's a fundamental challenge in terms of to go back to what I was saying about the cooperation rates. I mean, people are very cooperative in this market. There's also a courtesy in this market in terms of if you're asked a question, you feel obliged to give an answer. But you have to move away from the rational and really find out what is driving the consumer. And that is a real challenge sometimes, to get away from the rational response.
Indeed, but let me ask you this, Mr. Muhammad and Mr. Stewart. Is it more easier to do marketing research, especially marketing research in which people from the community would be involved, in countries which have lower crime rates?
To be honest with you, I mean, it's easier to do it here once people are convinced about it. Yeah. Market research, as Steve was saying, it's a little bit different than when you're talking about it in UK or you're talking about it in the States. It's more, here they take it in a social way. So that is a social way. That helps them a lot. So it helps us to get closer to the people. So I don't think since there is no crime here, but still people are a little bit scared when you go and knock at the door and they feel what's going on. Then you have to present yourself in the right way. You have to train the people how to approach the respondents. Yeah. So you have to be careful. But I don't think we face such kind of these things anymore nowadays. It's getting much better now.
Do you think people are getting familiar with the idea of marketing?
Yeah, we still need to do a lot on this. I mean, it's one of the main points I need to talk about it. And we need to do more publicity of market research. We have to talk about it. We have to get also more Saudis to be involved in the business, because Saudis, they know their country more than anybody else. So they know the culture. They can talk about it in details. And that will help us to reach the people actually. They know more about the culture.
And what are, Mr. Morse, as we talk about marketing and research, there are some ways, of course, for marketing research. So, like through, as I studied in the university, that was through survey maybe, or through studying the market itself. What are these ways in general?
As I referred to, I mean, face-to-face is still the primary way here because of the culture.
That's
the most effective way, definitely. And I personally, I mean, there are two types of market research, quantitative and qualitative. Personally, I think we get a lot more value out of the qualitative, which is a much more intimate environment where we get a small group of consumers together and it's run as a discussion. So it's more open and it comes more spontaneously from the consumers themselves. They are speaking more for themselves than they would do if they're responding to a survey questionnaire.
I mean, instead of talking about face-to-face, because it's an Arabic culture, it's an Arabic style. I mean, you need to talk to each other. I mean, doing it by telephone or doing so online, it doesn't help a lot. You will not break the barrier. When you have face-to-face, you can easily get all the information you require. It's just you need to break the barrier. The best way to break the barrier is to do it face-to-face. We are a little bit traditional.
Certainly, but now let's say that we are talking about the culture of marketing research. Please tell us, how is it, especially because here in Saudi Arabia, from the Ministry of Labor to from the Chamber of Commerce, they're always supporting small and medium-sized enterprises. How could marketing research play a role when we talk about small and medium-sized enterprises?
It's exactly the same. The size of the industry is not really relevant at the end of the day. As I said at the beginning, every business opportunity carries a risk. It's an investment, and therefore it needs the input that you get from talking to the consumer.
Yeah, Mr. Muhammad, as we talk about the traditional way of marketing research.
No, it's not traditional. I'm saying we like to do the right thing on the right place.
I'm talking now about the technology here. We're to the 2013, there is internet and cell phones. How did this help marketing researchers actually to have an access to the customer in order to...
It depends on your objectives actually. What kind of information do you require? If it's very deep information, you need to do it face to face because you would spend about 45 minutes, 1 hour talking to the respondents. If you need talking about something, you can cover it in 10 minutes, you can do it through online. So actually it depends what do you want, what are your objectives, what kind of information do you want. That is, it depends. So you can choose the criteria, you can choose the methodology according to your objectives. So you can cover it through online, through something called CAPI or CATI, through the telephone interviews, or you can cover it face to face, no problem.
Right. Now, Mr. Stewart, as you are a marketing research consultant,
yes.
Let's say we ask KSA2 hire you as our marketing research consultant.
So he's got a job now, right?
So let's say now, if we want to know, especially that who are the people who are watching programs of KSA2, or let's say who are the people who are watching Saudi Morning Show, or what is the content that we need to add to the program in order to reach out to a larger number of people, who are the people who are currently watching us, and the people who are watching us, why are they watching us? How would you do it? How would you go about it, let's say?
I'm actually going to pass this across to Mohammed because Mohammed has actually done this exercise. The television audience measurement.
Yeah, we did a lot of research on the media side, and we are experts on that as well. So it depends on, again, I'll come back to you on your objectives. If you want to do something like continuously, you need to monitor what kind of programs people are watching and what time they are watching, who's watching it. Then you have to do something continuously with people. You keep asking them, what did you watch yesterday or in the last 4 hours, something like that. That could be watched. Or you can, if you want to know how do people perceive your program, then you have to sit with the people and tell them what do they like about your program, what do they dislike about your program, and then we come back to you says, here you are doing very well on this, and then here are some problems, we need to sort it out. That is what. So there is a lot of research in media, and actually it's booming now because the competition is, so many channels are in the market now, especially the private sector. I can see also the Saudi TV starting doing a lot of research, which helps a lot of them, and they get all the results all the time.
Yeah, and when we do research, Mr. Stewart,
yes.
As we know, we're doing a survey or something, we should have sample. Is it dependent on what we are trying to maybe to market? The sample, usually the ages, maybe the gender, or any other...
Yes, we have to take a sample that is representative of your target audience, and then you can construct the sample according to the demographic profile. But there are also other ways of defining a sample.
And it's more difficult to throw the internet and online.
It's still early days, and I think the value still is, as Mohammed's already referred to, more in the traditional methods. I'm sorry if I'm pushing back.
Yeah. And all about, as we know, we're coming now, which is the marketing actually.
You're talking about how to choose the sample, right?
Yeah.
No, choosing the sample depends on the product itself. Again, depends on your objectives as well. If you're talking about TV program, then you need to talk to the people who are watching the TV regularly. If you're talking about a product for ladies, so then you have to choose it amongst females. If you're talking about any social children, then you have to, for example, we're doing a project now I can't mention the brand anyway. So you have to interview the mothers because they're using certain products for their children. So you can choose the sample according to your product itself.
Certainly, but tell us, where is it that marketing research plays a pivotal role, Mr. Mohammed and Mr. Stewart, both of you, as to, is it before you are starting a business? Is it to give your business a boost? Or is it to reinvent yourself?
It's at every stage through the product lifestyle. So pre-launch, to identify the market size and to work out the position, and to reassure yourself that you're actually addressing a genuine consumer need. Then there would be market research at the launch stage, and every stage after that, including potentially a relaunch once the product reaches the end of its life cycle. So market research has a role to play at every stage through the product lifestyle.
Yeah, market research is life. Nobody can take any decision without doing market research. Even in our daily life, we are doing research. It doesn't have to be market research. For example, if you want to buy a car, you have to go and look for many models, many things, and you collect the data for each each brand, and then you sit and you compare the data for each brand, and then you take the decision. This is the research. You collect the data, analyze it, and then take the decision.
Certainly, but let's say, I mean, looking at the Saudi society and the business culture that we have always had here in Saudi Arabia, do you think it is changing with time? And do you think that businessmen and investors now are able to understand the principles and the importance and significance?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it. Actually, it's getting much better now since we have...
Because I mean, I understand that marketing research to hire even a small group of experts who will do marketing research for you would be taking a significant amount from your budget.
Exactly.
Do you think that people understand the importance?
Yeah, they do. They started to understand it. But what I'm saying is, let me note, we are a little bit late than other countries in the whole Arabic area. Now this is the right time to do it. In the last 2 or 3 years, I can see it's growing a lot in Saudi Arabia. Most of the businessmen started talking about market research. They started talking about the importance of market research. But also with booming now Saudization, we need to concentrate on that now. This is the right time now to use the Saudi young men to be convinced on doing market research.
I mean, sorry, could I just interrupt? Not just the men.
Yeah, the women, I mean, Saudi generation, we need to work before we have to do that. Can you believe that there is no, you cannot get a certificate from the university that you studied market research? You get it for marketing, you get it for any other things, but there is no degree for market research. So we need to think about it. These things should be educated, more focused on the universities to convince the people why we are doing market research. It's not there, so we have to think seriously about it. With what we see now from the Saudi generations, men and women, of course, we're talking about women as well. I mean, they are now very well educated, so they have to be involved in this. Market research is knowledge. You need to know the culture. The best people who know the culture, the locals, the Saudis themselves, they will talk more, they will convince you more. As a foreigner, it's going to be difficult. A foreigner will do numbers only. But the style of life, we live it, we know it, we can talk about it, it will be more convincing. This is what we do.
And as you said, Mr. Mohammed, marketing research is maybe a rare major.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a few people who know. But if I'm from like opening a new business and I would like to do some marketing research, where could I find someone to do the marketing? Like for
I give my business guys after we finish the program.
Yeah, sure, in the camera. Like for a person who would like to, let's say, have a certain destination to go to and have marketing researchers, is there some certain companies here, some certain organizations maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, our company is called Ijabat, which we didn't need to talk about it. Ijabat is answers, right? I mean, we are a Saudi company. So, and there are many foreign companies in Israel. But you can reach them, they are everywhere, and just go to the, and as I said, I will leave my business card.
Certainly. But very briefly now, before we get farewell to the two of you gentlemen, please tell us a little bit about marketing research in Saudi Arabia. What are some of the challenges that you're facing, and this is still significantly?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, there are certain restrictions you put in the lifestyle, so you need to consider that. And for example, you can do in other Arab countries or in Europe, you can do, there is a technique, it's called door-to-door. So you can knock at the door and then somebody will open it, and you get, which is called the random, and it's a little bit difficult to do it. So we have to find a way on how we can manage. So there is always ways to manage it. At the end of the day, you need to choose a certain methodology which suits the place where you stay. That is if we're talking about Lebanon or we're talking about Egypt, you can do door-to-door. But here, if somebody comes and say, I'm doing door-to-door 100%, it's not, doesn't make any sense. You take a female interviewer, go and look at the doors, and she doesn't know who's going to open it for her. So it's a little bit conservative, so we have to put that in our consideration. So we're choosing the right methodology and the right culture for the right place.
But I'd just like to underline the point that Mohammed's already referred to, in terms of there really are some interesting career opportunities in market research for Saudis, for both sexes. Like the market has evolved. The market is now quite a complex market. The kind of insights that any entrepreneur needs, right, will be more likely to come from researchers who come from the same culture. So I really do urge young Saudi graduates to look at market research as a career.
And with this, we would like to thank you, actually, Mr. Stewart Morris, Marketing Research Consultant, and Mr. Mohammed Ahmed, the CEO of one of the leading marketing research companies here in the kingdom. And also, as Mr. John Morris just mentioned, Mr. Stewart, for those of you who are interested in the future career, an excellent future career, the marketing research field is a very fast-growing research, a very fast-growing field here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's still, it's young years actually, so it's still, if you get in this field now, you would have very good chances actually to enhance yourself and actually your income maybe, and to enhance the market and the economy of Saudi Arabia to help your society in the future. And with this, we'll go to our economical report now, and we'll be back to you. Stay with us.